Doug does our weekly newsletter, and once again, Doug, I got to tell you that's great newsletter. You've got a kind of a big article on Lake Powell. What's the long and
Yep.
short of that one?
Well, excuse me. As we both know, and all our listeners know, there's a water shortage, a pending water shortage coming up that affects not only water but power supply. So we'll get
Ooh.
into that at some our next segment.
Okay. The other thing I kind of caught my eye is the Washington State Senate Bill 5078 on firearms and large capacity magazines. And that's effective July the 1st. Good grief! What are these guys thinking?
Yep. I don't know. It's a good question. Now you're restricted to 10 rounds of ammunition in Washington. So hang on to your 30 rounds.
help me out with this. How in the hell are they going to enforce this?
I don't know. I mean, that's why I said hang on to your 30-round capacities. Bury them somewhere if you need to, because someday you're going to need them, So I don't know how they're going to manage this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The large capacity magazine means an ammunition feeding device with a capacity to accept more than 10 rounds, or any conversion kit, part, or combination of parts from which such a device can be assembled if those parts are in possession or under the control of the same person.
Right.
So that sounds kind of like Nazism to me, but that's just me.
No, I'm with you on that one, Don. No question about it. And the good news is the Wild Society Coffee Company out of Bozeman, Montana, is giving Arizona 82 sheep, bighorn sheep. There are 30 desert bighorn and 52 Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep were relocated into different remote locations in Arizona. That's great news.
That's pretty cool.
Great
news. I'd like to have a session with those guys on the air because from what I understand, looking at that article, the Wild Society Coffee invest 20% of their profits into conservation projects, and quite frankly, I think that's a pretty cool thing. With as many conservation projects as we get into here in Arizona, it would be nice to see industry or philanthropists, start putting money in, because right now the only budgets that we have, with the exception of these folks, are hunters and anglers through the excise taxes that are divvied up amongst the states for conservation. There's no state budget for conservation. There's no federal budget for conservation. It comes from the people that are hunting and fishing. And it doesn't come from, unfortunately, the people that are out there bitching about stuff and restricting access and wanting more wilderness and less access. They don't buy hunting fishing licenses. They're not investing in firearms and boats and trucks and, all this other thing that the Pittman Robinson money and the Dingell Johnson money is divvied up annually to all the states. They're just a load on society, forcing everybody to drink their Kool-Aid that tastes terrible. But anyway, moving along.
And then there's a segment of them that just trash the landscape to start off with. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's great news. On in the newsletter as well is in Missouri, just like Arizona, they're sinking these big brush piles in Blue Springs Lake. Now, if you see the picture there, that's a huge tree they're dumping down there. And based on the article, in this particular lake, they put in about 25 of these. So a lot of good crappie fishing going on there. How about that?
Yeah, pretty much. And I believe that's under the direction of the Army Corps of Engineers. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, next, what we got in line here is this picture sequence. All right. Up in Montana, a grizzly bear was caught on camera attacking a fish and game officer. And this is just an unreal sequence. I just couldn't believe what I was watching, or seeing, I should say. It wasn't a video, just a series of pictures. But here, this poor guy, this grizzly, no sooner gets out of the canister out of the back of their truck, he attacks this ranger up on top of that canister, pulls him down to the ground, starts to rip his leg apart. And one of the other rangers off to the side, and you can see him off to the side, puts 3 shots with a 357 in that bear to stop him from chewing on this ranger.
Oh, my goodness.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And, as much as I agree with, Mark on the live show, hey, you know what? You don't need to be a ranger because this is what you're going to be faced with as a ranger. But they need to protect themselves as well, so they put that bear down.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's about the long and the short of it, I guess. A couple things around the nation we want to talk about a little bit, Don, is in Georgia, they became the 25th state to enact permitless carry legislation. And in Utah, they are going to be selling at an auction their antlers, furs of illegally killed wildlife in Utah. So if you live, and that's probably up north somewhere in Utah. I live in the south, so I don't see that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's kind of the newsletter, and I guess next segment, we're going to talk more about the Lake Mead water problem.
Yep, that's it. Folks, if you don't have the newsletter delivered by the internet via Doug, you can sign up for that at huntingfishing.com. Great job. Look forward to